today's webinar is called How to Streamline Client Approvals and Keep Remodeling Projects on Track, right? So if you're a remodeler, if you're an interior designer, if you're someone working in construction business, you know what it's like to deal with client approval, scope changes, miscommunication, or project delays, you name it. We know the hustle. We know that sometimes it can be hard to leverage and to streamline. And basically, you cannot predict everything that's going to happen within a project, but you can find ways to actually, fix that. And so today we're joined by Ryan Gifford, who is the COO of Brown Design and Construction, which is a New York-based remodeling firm specializing in kitchens, additions, basements, bathrooms, and more. So Ryan, today, thank you so much for joining us, but you're going to walk us through a real project because we really wanted to ground that webinar into reality and an actual project with an actual pro, with someone that is actually facing, the reality of what it's like to be, a GC in the US. And so we want to see how your team uses Houzz Pro to reduce frictions, keeps your clients aligned, and run smoother and more profitable job, basically. So Ryan, before we jump in, for those who are meeting you for the first time, can you quickly introduce yourself and your role at Brown Design and Construction, please?
Yes, thanks for having me here. We're located in upstate New York, as I said before, and I'm the COO, so I handle everything back end. So my main project was essentially to get the most out of Houzz Pro. So the way that we started with Houzz Pro, just a quick little snippet to give some backstory, was the owner of the company, was doing everything himself and trying to keep everything organized, but was doing it all manual. So found Houzz Pro, but was so busy with everything else, didn't know how to utilize it all. So then that's when I came on board to be more the techie side of things and really help utilize every aspect of it. So I'm all the back end stuff and, do everything Houzz Pro related and all the tracking. So.
All right. I think the CEO is called Josh, isn't it?
Yep. Josh Brown is the owner. So Brown Design and Construction. Yep. He started a few years ago and, it's been growing rapidly, the last 3 years.
All right. Do you recall why Josh started having conversation with Houzz Pro? Like, what was the reason behind him jumping in the platform?
So he was just overwhelmed. It started off with just him with remodeling projects, and then him and his best friend started growing it more. But as more projects were coming in, they were realizing that Microsoft Word and random Excel sheets and notes on your phone weren't keeping everything in line. So he was like, how do I go to the next step? I have to find a system that can help us have everything in there. And the way he started was he first needed a place to do all of his estimates. And he found Houzz Pro, had a really good estimate system, and didn't have the time to fully utilize everything else as he was growing. So then that's when I came on board. And that's when he was like, we need to get the most out of this. I know it's the best. He did the demo, saw everything, but as he's growing, he needs to focus on the workers and all of that, and then to piece it all together. So that's where I came on board and helped implement Houzz Pro full as we can. And, there's still more and more coming out that we're still even adding into our workflow.
Nice. Thank you so much. Yes, I was going to say that yesterday when we prepped the webinar, you were actually mentioning that Josh was not utilizing the tool as its maximum potential. And when you join, this is where you actually saw, the full workflow integration. But so today we're going to talk about a real project, right? This is the goal. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screen because Ryan, you're going to take over. But so basically, can you tell us about, the project that you're going to run through today?
Yes, So this is just a picture of the house. So we got contacted by this client. Their issue was living space, and the master bedroom was not in a place where they had enough room for a full bath and a walk-in closet. It was kind of tight. They have 4 kids, 2 dogs. So they wanted to take the space above the garage and build it into a 2nd-story addition to a full master suite with a walk-in closet, full bath, and really give them that, space that they've given up so long with their family. So they reached out to us, and this is the project that we're gonna go through for that.
All right. Thank you so much. So for that specific project, can you tell us about the pre-sale experience, right? So obviously they're interested, they're contacting you. Can you tell us, like, how did they find you? And also, what was the sales process behind bringing that specific lead into becoming a client? Like, how did you manage to convince them that you were the right, a company to work with?
Yeah. So they found us through looking back at their lead form. They said that Instagram and word of mouth at one of our local gyms was how they heard of the company. So just like our reputation and seeing some of the stuff we're doing on Instagram, like we share a lot of Houzz Pro related stuff, like our 3D designs, our in progress stuff and all of that. So they saw that. And then the way that we personally handle our sales is we set up first a call to talk with the client and book a in-person meeting to walk through the space or talk with them about what their vision is, what they want, and what their needs are. So with a space like this, it wasn't necessarily a full room that we could go in and scan. It had a little slanted upper area. So what we try to do is, as soon as we can, scan the room and get them a 3D design up front, just so that we can show, okay, here's our vision, here's what we have. Even if it doesn't have the full design yet, we still show them just the layout of the space and what they want. So for this one, especially because it was an addition, we wanted them to feel and see how big the space would look from adding on that area as well. So when we first go there, while Jordan and Josh, who are the guys that do the sales, they're talking with the client, getting all the details, while I'm going around scanning and getting at least a base model build of their 3D design at the first meeting. We try to get it as soon as possible so that we can present to them and say, all right, here's our clean slate, here's what we can work with, and even put in some stuff that they can get excited about. And then once we meet with them and talk with them about all of that, I then get right to work and build a full 3D design either that afternoon or the next morning as soon as possible, so that we can get them excited and wanting to start and putting more of their personal touches on it as soon as possible. And then along with that, what we really try to do is get talking budget, a ballpark number, and then we build out an estimate within Houzz Pro, so that when we're doing the 3D design and the estimate, we can start to really hone that in so we can sell them as soon as possible. So what we have found is, rather than just talking the talk and like, oh yeah, no, we can do this and this, is we try to show them as soon as possible, like what we're actually going to do. So that really just gets them excited and, makes them like, oh, what if we did this? And what if we did this? Because we get a lot of the time people asking like, well, I don't know what it's going to look like. Or like, do you have other examples you could show me? But now it's at their actual space. It's just so valuable to, utilize that right away.
Absolutely. And so, a picture, or, we say a picture is worth 1,000 words sometimes. Can you please show us what it looks like in your 3D floor plan within Houzz Pro? So basically, for those who are already in the platform in the webinar, whenever you have the, like the Houzz Pro mobile app, you are able to do a room scan, so a 3D room scan of the job site that you're visiting. So basically, if you have an iPhone Pro, you're able to use the LiDAR technology, and the LiDAR technology will actually recreate the space in 3D. So you will just have to kind of videotape it, and it will take the measurement for you, and it will also take the furniture. So
yeah, and it's super easy. It's like not intimidating at all. It's so easy to use.
Nice. And so, okay, so basically you had that. So what you were saying is that first you land on a job site. Josh is talking to the clients, talking more probably technical, and then you're behind scanning the job, finding like what you could potentially do. In that specific case, did you put down any walls? What did you rearrange here?
So for this one, it was the same size space, but they had the roof going across the top. So it was just a slanted roof. So you could walk in still here, okay. But it was, if you just picture a slanted roof instead of that. So if we go into the 3D design, this would be like a slanted roof coming across. So I was able to, with a 3D, still scan the floor space and get them what the floor plan was. So picture just this as one big square.
Okay.
And then they told us they wanted a walk-in, they wanted a full bath, and it to be their master suite. And they, wanted big windows. So this was what we did with the space for that.
That's amazing. Ryan, did you take any classes in interior designer or not?
Self-taught. No, just a passion for it, and just keeping up with the trends and all of that. So no, nothing personal, but it's honestly, with the way you guys have it set up, it makes it so easy with the selections and picking things and showing like
yeah. All right. And so quick question for you. So basically you create that for your clients, you do the proposal, right, on Houzz Pro, and then after you send that over to your clients. Can you see, since you've been starting using that specific method in your processes, do you see any changes in the way that the conversion rate has been impacted by that specific process? Have you seen any changes in the way that you're communicating with your client? Did it impacted the project after all? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think it just builds trust right away, which is like the biggest thing, just because, again, like I said earlier, was rather than just saying, oh, we'll do this and whatever. And we get a lot of times where partners would be like, oh, well, I know, my husband or my wife or whoever really wants to see what it's going to look like. They're really picky. They really want this. So this is like a way to eliminate that issue or any concern. So in terms of like our leads, we get we offer with our company, we utilize this by saying we offer free 3D designs, and we publicize it all over. And we get people reaching out that want this. So this is like one of the first things that we try to do with all of our leads is get in there, get them a design, and really get them excited. And we found that with our local competitors, turnaround time and not offering this or offering something similar with a fee is been the issue. So for us, it's been really great at, providing value like that they don't have to pay for upfront, and then it also is like helping us really convert quickly rather than saying, oh, it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks. We try to do it as soon as possible, get them excited, and really be above our competitors.
Yeah, I understand that. Quick question for you. Sometimes we say when we offer something for free for people, and especially 3D renderings, they're like, okay, I have the vision now. I can take it myself and either go and see someone else or just build it myself. Like how does it work for you? Do you feel like people are staying because you provide that?
Yeah, we thought at first maybe like people would take advantage or anything, but to be honest, we haven't had one person that we have felt that. We have converted so far 2026. We've had 8 out of 10 projects convert, and two of them are still in the pipeline. It's not like a no, we've lost them. We just feel that we've seen our project price value go up a lot just because we can provide this. Like we originally, like 2 years ago, we're doing a lot of single baths like that, but now we're doing additions, full basements, and right now we have 2 homes we're building that we'll also be utilizing this for. I don't have anything with that yet because they're much future projects, but we've just noticed that our reputation in the area, and then just getting the trust from the clients right away, has been huge, and it's just been converting, where we have doubled as a company the last year. Going into this year, we have the same goal. We want to double again. So this is just how we feel is what's really contributing to it, and why we forefront. Like if you were to go to our Instagrams or whatever, you would see free 3D designs, brown designs, so we take a lot of pride in it.
That's great. It's a great lead magnet strategy, and I'm super glad to hear that it's converting. We have a question for you, Josh, from Ryan, from Alexandria. Once you have the 3D scans tailored to the client's desires and the estimates reflect the full scope of work, do you meet with clients in person to present, or do you meet virtually? And which approach have you found to be most successful if one sells? Thank you.
So I will say we love going in person because there's another feature in Houzz Pro I can't show on here, but it kind of looks like a walkthrough. It's called their AR. So what we do is with an iPad, if you were to go back, if I was to go back to this client's space, and you start in like a corner and you hold the iPad, and they can physically walk through the actual space as like it was before and see the actual new design. So like it's like almost like virtual reality with your iPad. Like they'll be able to physically walk through, not only see the design, but like feel the space, the size of the bathroom and all of that. So that's like how we take the next step to not just present them just even this, you know, rendering I'm showing you, but like with the AR feature, they actually walk through the space and like really feel in it. And like you just see their eyes like get excited or more ideas. And that's what helps, you know, bump up that estimate where they want to add on things. Ooh, what if we did this? It's just, so we mainly do it in person. We send this to them digitally right away. And then we always try to schedule up, because that's another part of our pitch is like, you'll be able to walk through the space and truly see it and feel it. And they're like, oh, I want to do that. Like my wife would love that. So that's how we take it to that next step that honestly, we don't see any of our competitors in our area doing. So.
Very nice. So two aha moments with the 3D, basically. The first one, when you scan and you're able to provide at least a very first draft of the vision. And the second one is how things are laying out, which is absolutely removing barriers whenever the client is hesitating between two pros, or even, I think it's really also a good level of upselling opportunities. You know, sometimes when clients, they don't necessarily visualize what they want to have, and that you're able to provide that upsell within the 3D design and show that, it also becomes a no-brainer to actually sell that service in addition. So very smart. Just responding to Stephen before we move on, Ryan. Stephen asked if the 3D design integrates with CAD program. Right now, no. We are not integrated with SketchUp, AutoCAD, ArchiCAD. So it's just like living in Houzz Pro for the moment. All right, so maybe we can move to, so now we know a little bit more about your sales pipeline, right? And how you're bringing your clients into signing a contract and an estimate with you. So you said that, yes, you're powering estimate through Houzz. Can you tell us a little bit more about, you know, the selections? You have talked about the selections before, right? How do you make sure, and this is the heart of that webinar, to make sure that, you know, like the selections are being centralized, that you streamline the approvals and communication with your clients once you get started on that project?
Yeah. So what I'm pulling up now is the selection board. So like once we get them on and we start talking through things, what we do is we add in options of what they can. So this is the bathroom of the design. So, you know, the area here. And what we do is we send them options based on like our conversations with them and like inspo pics or Pinterest boards that they sent us or anything. So we then send them options of what they would want, or they've sent us things and we put them in here. So things from paint to toilets to mirrors to lights, vanities, and then they on their own decline or approve, you know, can even put comments and all of that here. So we do it by room. Like for this one, it was just the bedroom and the bathroom, but we have that all in here. So depending on what the design is. Oh, and then this is also a photorealistic image from the 3D design, little bonus extra there that we provide them. So that's a little cool other feature. But that's what we do to like help them choose, and then helps us understand exactly like what we're ordering. So it's not just like he said, she said, but we actually have, you know, it documented it proven that this is what they wanted, and then we can budget for that and you know, have true exact data for that.
Very nice. Can you tell us what were you doing before using selections board?
Text messages and saying, oh yeah, we're gonna do this one, and then it's, you know, once you start getting a couple projects, like what did I tell them? Or you know, we still joke about this one project we did probably a little over a year and a half ago. We ordered 8 different mirrors for a client because, you know, we wanted them to be happy, but like it's like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna pick the perfect mirror out for you. We know, like from that Instagram post, you see that mirror, we'll do that. But like it was just a text message, just a simple thing, and then, oh, I'm not happy. Oh, no problem, we'll get you a new one. Not happy. So now it's like, okay, we never want the 8 mirrors incident again. So this is just an easy way to be like, even if they, combat it and they're like, well, I didn't select that. Well, yes, we have it here. You selected this time, that time. And, it just helps ease any of that.
All right. So you saw the benefit internally, obviously, within your own, it protects you, your margin, and not necessarily like overspending for your clients. Do you feel like it has changed anything with the relationship that you're building with your clients using that?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, I think people are just like impressed that it's all easy for them to follow along with, rather than other clients or other companies they've reached out to where it's like, oh, we'll send you stuff, or they have like, even if it's like paper, but we have found that having it to them like this, where they feel the control that they're picking, it's not just what you get, has really been beneficial. And then it's like, you can link it to budgets. So it's like, hey, well, we allocated this. So when they pick things, they can, oh, I can actually get the bigger vanity, or, that's actually really expensive. Let me go with this. So then you're almost like giving them the power, and it feels like they're saving and staying with their budget.
Yeah.
And they get to pick exactly what they want.
Exactly. And, I think it's just like, it's also a very powerful tool to give the level of information that the client needs without overflowing them with a lot of selection, or flowing them with small selections, right? So it's just like finding the right balance between what you like, what do you send them? How do you present them in a way that is very comprehensive for them to understand where this item falls, and exactly to do the balance in the budget, saying, okay, well, if I'm going crazy on the bed frame, maybe I'll go a little less crazy on the carpets and on the bedside table. So
yeah, and that's one area where we're trying to even do more. It's like we're trying to get everything as possible in there, where we're starting with like the big selections, and now that we feel like we've really nailed this, we're just going to keep adding more and more and all of that. So it's been really, really beneficial for just transparency with the client.
Nice. And when you started, I was happy to see, because when you showed the very first picture of the job site, you had the little clipper extension activated on that image. So can you tell us a little bit more about that clipper extension? Because for those who are not aware about the clipper extension, it's a Chrome extension that Houzz Pro provide to help you build your own library, right? So it helps you create your selection board, basically select all the items that you will need across any vendor website, retrieve all the information, and put it down in your estimate, in your section board, in your 3D floor plan, in your mood board, basically everywhere. So Ryan, can you tell us how you're using currently the Clipper extension?
Yes. Let me see if I can even pull it up. It's just easier to show it.
Yeah.
Let me share that screen. Switch screen. So we have a really good deal with. Oh, I got to sign in. Let me switch back. So just to speak on it, it's super easy. So Houzz Pro is with Home Depot right now, has like that integration within. We use Lowe's a lot and like other vendors, all with the clipper tool. It'll pop up on the side of your screen, and you can literally click anything, and it has an AI button on the top that'll say autofill with images, and it really helps so much. Like it'll autofill it in, auto puts it on your board, whatever room you have. It takes seconds. Oh yeah, exactly here, the automate. Yeah.
So yes, basically, hold on. You're going into any type of product. So I apologize, I'm logged into my UK account because we are very international in that team, but you will get the sense. You have that little image that Ryan, you were mentioning. And so basically it allows you to clip any product from any website and use AI to retrieve all those information. And basically, like you saving the images. I'm just going to remove that because it was from the other. It takes the prices, the VAT, client description, and then you can save that into Houzz Pro and retrieve that. So in the past, Ryan, what were you using to actually retrieve those information and create the estimate, the selections board, and even for furniture,
all manual. It was like either just links in text messages and emails that they could click through and look at, but it wasn't like visual. It wasn't, they couldn't like see it. And it was just that, or we would show them like an old post from like a past project. Oh, like you like that floor? We can do that floor. And then we've also in the past too met clients like at places to go walk through and physically see them, which it has also eliminated that. So it's allowed us to really, without having to spend more time physically at like floor source or anywhere, it's been great for that.
That's nice to hear. But yes, and so for sure, it's what we've heard from other pros that are using it. It's a game changer as well to have AI now, because even if we were using the Clipper before, you know, like depending on the vendors, the information are hidden in different places, right? So sometimes you have the dimensions hidden at the very bottom of the web page. Sometimes it's under like another tab. So like the advantage is that it's retrieving the information in one click, so you don't have to like dive into the website to find the correct information that you're looking for. All right, so we saw how you're building out, you know, like you're laying the ground on the project, right? But now let's get to actually building it, you know, like once the job is getting started with a field crew on it and so on. Can you tell us a little bit more, you know, how you're leveraging Houzz Pro to help you and accompany you into that specific stage of that project?
Yeah, so what we do is we have, we build our estimate, send that out, and when that's signed, we then build our schedule. And within Houzz Pro, what's helped us is we use the AI feature within the schedule. It'll build it off of your estimate, so at least gives you like a really good baseline based on what you have in your estimate. So we use that.
So that's in your screen.
Share screen. All right, so then.
And speaking of sharing, usually when you're building that schedule, with which stakeholders are you sharing that schedule usually?
We share with all of our side and the client as well. So like they'll see exactly like what's going on. Here we go. Like what's going on and when, so that they can log in the client dashboard and see like what work is going on at that time. And then I can't show it because it's already built, but you can right here would say like build it with the schedule, and it'll auto do this for you. And then you can simply just tweak and adjust as needed.
Yeah. So because usually like whenever you need a schedule to be built, it's because, and for financial purposes, we are not asking Ryan to show a proposal, right? But I mean, estimates. But usually whenever you're building out those estimates, it has to reflect also the breakdown of your schedule. This is why it became so easy to convert that into a schedule.
Yes. So it's been really easy, like quick. And like what we find is now using this, we can use baselines and templates so like anytime we have a similar project, we know what worked well or what didn't work well. And it really helps us grow and see change and like how we can utilize that more.
Yeah.
Like, for example, it's not just every time we're starting fresh.
Yeah.
We're actually like trying to use similar flows that we've used in the past.
Yeah, so you can, if I may say, templatize a lot of things in Houzz Pro and in your business to make sure that you don't necessarily have to redo that double entry, just like spend less time in low value task, which is rewriting your schedule when it's already existing somewhere else, basically. Just a quick break. Melanie has a question. If I'm a designer and I'm working with one contractor from another company on the same project, can we share a timeline where we can both edit it? So that's a good question, Melanie. Right now, you can you would be adding that contractor into a team member if you want them to be able to edit the schedule. Otherwise, you can add the contractor as a subcontractor, and they will have access to the schedule, but they won't be able to edit it. But going back to the project that you're talking about, Ryan, do you have like an example of, timeline being communicating through the schedule or changes that happen? Like how did it help you, centralize and make sure to avoid some of the issues that can be linked to the lack of organization, for instance?
Yeah, it really helps with us communicating it to everyone and like our subs and trying to plan out things like our like the dump trailers and all of that. So we send it out right away, and then with our like subcontractors and all of that, they see like what we have scheduled and what we talked about, and then they can easily communicate to us because they're added as team members and chat with us and say like what they can do or can't do. And then in here, what we like is like when you drag it over, it'll show like a delay and then affect everything else if you do the proper like linking.
Mhm.
So that's how we try to do that as best we can to, you know, keep it up to date. And it's just mainly like keeping the communication open with everyone. So once we share it with our team members, they can then communicate to us like, that looks good, or yes, I remember having that conversation, rather than what we've had in the past is like, oh yeah, I'll come on next Thursday and do it. Where now it's like, it keeps them reminded and, you know, on track for that.
And do you give access to the client as well from on that schedule?
Yep.
Yeah.
We send that to them. That's part of our pitch, just so that they are always aware, like who's working or what's going on when, and if there's delays and all of that. So we just communicate with them through that. So it's on the client dashboard.
Okay. What would you say would be the number one things that could cause delays on that specific project, for instance?
In the past, it was like if we had subs that said they were going to come and do some work and then, you know, either didn't show up that day or they forgot or whatever. And then this is a way for us to like really see like what's coming up, plan and all of that. The biggest delay for us, truthfully, would just be if other projects have like weather related issues and get delayed and then it pushes everything else. But this is just a way for us to like really see what's happening this week. What are the main things going on? If there is a delay in another project, how will it affect, you know, this addition or things like that? So it's just really trying to keep everything within house so that we can have it if one affects the other and be organized that way.
And how did you manage to, you know, like rally the subs around that new method?
Yes, as you can guess, it wasn't always the easiest, but I think it's kind of just keep pushing them to do it as they're, you know, they're in the app, they can see everything. And I think once they started seeing our communication consistency with it and like almost helps them organize, where now what we hear is like, oh, I wish so-and-so's company had something like this. Like it's really nice and keeps them updated. Like we make sure that we communicate with them consistently, give them updates, anything like that would affect their part of the work. So it's just been, you know, at first it was a struggle trying to get them on, but once they get on, they see like the value from it and how we're consistent with it. It really just pushes them to like, you know, they're excited to have it too. Like, oh, I wish others had that.
Yeah. I mean, it sets expectation also of what you're, you know, expecting from them. The level of professionalism that is also, you know, like they apply on the job sites. And sometimes, of course, like they're spending countless hours on the job site. So sometimes they just like don't have the time to update it but it's just like, okay, well, we're putting in place like method and process to help you not spend that time. And also like everything that we're doing is to make sure that we don't avoid like back and forth or like you coming to a job site and realize that the electrician was not there. So the plumber cannot start, you know, this kind of disputes that always happen during projects. And those are being avoided. So yeah, we hear a lot about, you know, like from a pros that sometimes like onboarding the subs is, you know, like is a challenge. But when they manage to do so, it's always like very beneficial to everyone.
Yeah, we just noticed like once you tell them you're going to do it, you got to be consistent and like, you know, like teach them, help them, show them. Just it really keeps them, you know, on track with it. So
yeah. Do you feel like it reduced the stress, you know, like the day-to-day stress from the team as well? Like, do you see like a change?
Oh yeah. The way we used to run was just kind of figure it out day by day. Like, you know, at the end of the day, just text everybody like, hey, we're going to do this tomorrow. And now it's like, we're trying to be like systemized and really plan forward and trying to have it really teach us for our next project. How can we be even better? How can we tighten up this time? Where did we slow down? Where did we do this wrong? Or where did we do well? Like things like that. So we're just trying to really fine tune all of that.
Yeah. And you were mentioning also your ambition for the company, right? To double like the turnover. And so I think it's also a very good way to scale your business, like making sure that, the process is organized, communicated to different stakeholders. This is also what prevents you from spending time actually following up on those little details and try to foresee that growth for your company. Speaking of growth, because obviously, like schedules, it's obviously a very important part of the project and building that. But it's also staying profitable means controlling the budget and understanding cost in real time. And it's also, I think, something where a lot of pros are struggling today, right? It's how do you track cost? How do you make sure that you're actually making a margin from your project? Because you can have the best turnover in the world, but if you don't necessarily create a margin from your business, this is where you're having issues, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about, like how do you track the profitability of your project?
Yeah, so the main thing that we do is we utilize like the time and expenses and all of that for within Houzz Pro. So what we make our guys do is a daily log every day, and they have to track their expenses, track their time. So that's all tracked within Houzz Pro. And then within the budget tool, we link everything to like the different line items and phases of the job so that.
Are you willing to show, or is it
Oh,
too sensitive?
yeah. No, that's okay.
Thank you.
So first I'll show like our daily logs and our expenses and stuff. Let's see, time and expenses, pull that up, share. All right, so here you can see like different things that we have and all of that, expenses and time. So we log all of that, and the team does that themselves.
Okay.
And then if you go into budget, this is where we have everything from our estimate. And what you do is you can add into each item every expense and time, that timesheet that they have in there of labor. You can have that all linked in, so you can see like areas that we were under budgeted or that we did well on, and then it gives you like a really great overall number, so you can see how well you did versus what you projected. So we're as well as we can and all of that as we're going through it.
Okay. So I've seen a lot of green in it, which is amazing, but I've seen also some red numbers. Like whenever those numbers, like the red numbers appears, like what do you do? Like what's the process?
We just go through, was it labor related or was it materials, or like what was the cost? Like what was the reason for it? And it could have simply been we underestimated when we were doing our estimate, or we look back at like the schedule or see like what caused those delays. We even go back to like the actual daily log, like whenever that if we notice like a specific time or whatever, we can go back to the daily log and see like, oh, their tile work was taking too long, things like that. So that's how we try to narrow it down there.
Yeah. Okay. I understand. Yeah. It's very interesting to see because, it's just the way you're monitoring your costs and making sure that if like where's the issue and who should it be on, is it like a change order that needs to be created because it's on the client's responsibility? Are you absorbing that? And for the next part, like next time that you're having similar job, like how do you make sure that what you have underestimated is being corrected with a better evaluation to make sure that next time your profitability is being protected, right? Can you?
Exactly. So I was going to pull up like I want to show too our daily logs, because daily logs have been so good for us. So this is an example of one of our guys. He took some photos of the plumbing work he did. We try to have this for every single one of our full-time staff, and then our subs as well. The subs obviously need some more work, like to try to push them to do this that we're really working on. But for example, you can start to see from our 3D design, like the wall that
Nice.
that we had built in there. So it's like this is a way for us to really see and utilize it all in everything.
All right.
If that makes
yeah, 100% makes sense. The daily logs, usually you share it just like it's for internal purposes, or you also share that with the clients and they know? What do you usually do?
We do both. Yep. So we have our project manager make sure that we have a daily log with the client every day. That's like, hey, here's what we got done and here's what we're going to do. And then internally, we have every single one of our workers in a daily log of what they did. And then if they have any issues or anything, like they note it and all of that. So it's like, it's almost like a timesheet and like a daily thing that they got to do. And it really holds them accountable. And even guys get excited to share. Like I get calls at the end of the day, like, Ryan, I forgot to do my daily log. Like no worries, just submit it, when you can, and all of that. So it's like, we've built the culture where, it's not punished. We actually reward our guys. We do like a monthly percentage of like who submitted the most daily logs consistently. They earn Lowe's gift cards, things like that. So we try to like make it a reward and not a punishment when they don't do it. So it's not like I have to do it. It's they want to show the boss the good work they're doing and all that. And they see the answers from the clients and they're like, oh, that looks so good, I can't wait. So it's just been beneficial from both sides.
Yeah, it's I mean, when we were talking about earlier how to make sure that the guys are ramping up on that technology as well, I think it's just like a very smart way to do so. And especially, daily logs, it's interesting that you say it's for both, because obviously whenever there is an issue, let's say your plumber is like facing a big issue, you don't want necessarily to worry the client. So you still have control about what you want to share and what you keep private. So you make sure that you find a solution before the client's calling you freaking out. All right. That makes super sense. Thank you so much. Leo question. What's one example where budget, do you have any example where, like seeing the budget visibility help you make a better decision on the spot? Do you have something in mind where looking at the budget, you were like, okay, we need to change like the process, we need to change something?
One specifically isn't like in the moment as much, but what we've noticed is certain subcontractors we were using were taking longer and spending, like overspending and things that we didn't notice. And like some of our current workers, so one example, we just recently had one of our workers was overspending and like just, before we would just see them come in through the credit card and really wouldn't know what they were. We do like a report at the end of the project. But what we noticed now was they were just overspending on supplies and not returning them. And like the budget of the plumbing part was quickly approaching the limit. And then we would see the daily logs and checking on the project. It wasn't really half done. And we're like, how is this? And it was just, we relied. It just really helped us like get in there as soon as see, okay, if that much and logging that much, like what's going on. And then we also like, I saw someone talking about like logging expenses. We cross-check it too with our cards to make sure that they're logging everything that we have. So it's just a part of like my daily routine is we cross-check it. So it was easy to us to flag like, all right, we're overspending here. Why are we doing that? What's our plan of action to like keep this within our budget? Things like that.
Okay, I see. All right, thank you so much. Now, because we have talked about communication on site and so on, I want also to talk about client communication, and especially the tool that you're using, Client Dashboard, for communicating, because obviously you're providing a lot, right? You're providing selections board, you're providing daily logs, providing estimates, schedule, and so on. Can you walk us through the way that you're utilizing Client Dashboard? Which point are you sharing that with the clients? Like, what's your process around that, and why is it beneficial for you?
Yeah, so we initially, one of our things we first tell the clients, like, you're going to get a 3D design. We're going to share a client dashboard with you. It's going to have everything of our communications, contracts, selections, everything. So it's like, it's all in one place. So you don't have to go looking through text messages and all of that. So that's how we try to show them everything that we're building within it. We share with the client in there. Like obviously the specifics of budget and all of that, we don't, but like the estimate and all of that, and the selections, 3D floor plan, our communication, we try to do all within the client dashboard in Houzz Pro.
Could you share maybe an example, share your screen on the project? And in the meantime, while you are looking, because I'm pretty sure you can do two things at the same time, do you feel like, that like, how does the client dashboard change the client experience in your opinion?
Yeah, so here I'll scroll quickly, but like you can see some communications from here with the client, just I don't want to throw them out there. And then things like this, they have their 3D floor plan, the selections board, it's all there. It just throws in there, but it'll show them everything. And like, it's just easy for them to instantly see everything that they have. And it's really beneficial for the client just to have one place to go and see it all. Like that's what we just noticed is rather than missing communication, it's all there. And there's no question on like what we said in the past or what we said in the estimate, things like that. They just find it super valuable that it's all there.
Have you heard about, clients that had like a different experience with other general contractors, other pros, and then like they found your processes being valuable? Like what did they say?
What we find a lot is just like all the different things that we offer. They're like, oh, so-and-so doesn't have that. That's really cool. Or, oh, that's super nice. Like again, my wife or my partner would really love that because they're really organized, and it just eases the tensions of like one, that we're official and very professional. And then two, we try to say like, we're fully transparent. We're not hiding anything, like here's the dashboard with everything we've talked about. And it just really, eases all tensions and really helps us sell right away.
I see. If you put yourself in the homeowner's shoes, what do you think is the most important, like the most valuable thing within like a project for them?
Honestly, what we've seen is the 3D design has been just so valuable and separating us from our competitors, and then being able to like link that with an estimate that matches and the selections and just having it all one system. And then like them getting the messages through our app is just been very helpful. Like it just really sells us right away and shows like, wow, these guys are, I hate to say like of the times, but they're providing all of this and so fast. And we just find that people are getting impatient quickly and they're like, oh, but I want my bathroom now. Like, so with a good 3D design, we feel like that eases all of that and allows us to really just get them exactly what they want. And then there's no questions and really sell really well.
Yeah. And, I think it's also very, now we have what we call instant, I don't know if you call that in English, instant gratification, fact that you're able to have the image right away. And AI is also providing that, you say, okay, well, if I want to change my bathroom, I just have to log that into ChatGPT or Gemini, and then I'll have an image, right? So it feels that now you can have that at the fingertip of your hand or of your finger, sorry, I don't know the expression. It's getting late for me, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you said it right, and that's exactly it. It's like we'll get people that send us AI images from ChatGPT and like, we want this, and then we're like, okay, based on your space, here's realistically what we can do. And like that's how we combat that. And like I showed before in my selections where we do like the photorealistic images. Yeah. So we try to, we'll say like, oh, well, here's your AI image you sent us, here's our like photorealistic rendering of what your space will look like with the design that we can actually do in your space. And, people love it.
Yeah, I get that. Well, thank you so much, Ryan, for your time, for all the valuable insights. Just a quick question for you, like probably to wrap up, what measurable improvements have you seen since you've been adopting Houzz Pro?
One, so it's not as measurable, but it's like, it's been so good internally. So on the business side, communication with our team, what we're hearing from our guys is they're just like quality of life is so much better by knowing their schedules ahead of time, knowing their tasks, communicating easier within the project or with our team, in the big chats. It's just because we used to just every night text them, hey guys, here's where you're going tomorrow. And they get sick of it. So that internally has been super valuable. Also, like us tracking our budgets and really having like finite numbers and like what our results were of jobs have been great. Then on the selling side, we've just been converting so much better as we go through. Our conversion rate has gone up. Our size of our projects, so our average project has gone up, where we're seeing a lot more like full basements, full additions. We even have 2 house builds on the project this year. So it's just, we've seen both of those really, really increase. And then it comes down to reviews and our reputation. So people are talking about us. They do this and this, like, everything going all the way. It's been so valuable. And, one of those push through the beginning phases. It's all worth it. It's amazing. Like, I'm not even saying that because they're here. It's been so valuable to our business.
Nice. Super happy to hear that. Well, I think we're just so good in that session. Maybe we have some questions from the attendees in the room. I see Melanie asking, do you have to log expenses here and in QuickBooks? Are you using QuickBooks, Ryan, as well, or any other?
Yep. So they have the integration with QuickBooks, and then we have a bookkeeper that checks everything and makes sure that everything lines up. But there is the QuickBooks integration with Houzz Pro. You just got to make sure your QuickBooks is like a certain level that they can connect it, and then it, as long as you're logging it in there, it should link properly.
All right. Thank you so much. I don't think that we have any other question, but I just have one last for you, and then after we can call it a day for me, and probably the rest of your day for you. What advice would you give to a professional who feels too busy to implement better systems?
I would say I understand where you're coming from, but it's only going to improve your business and quality of life for you and your workers when you implement it all. It doesn't mean you need to jump in and do everything day one. It's what we did is we sat as a team and like made actionable steps of like, okay, let's start with estimates. Let's start with client communication. Let's get that off our cell phones and stop texting. And then let's move into the 3D floor plans. Let's really utilize that. And we just made sure that we were adding and building as we were going through. And now what we're trying to do is really finite like our budgets and every single line item so that we can project out farther and really fine tune our projects. But I would say is just take that first step, sit with your team, go through what is our biggest challenge right now as a business, implement that within Houzz Pro. Once that's good, stack on another. And you'll learn that it's very easy and your clients are going to love it. Staff's going to love it. And it's just, again, consistency with your staff. If you're going to have them doing daily logs, make sure you're checking it. Make sure you're like in a positive way. Like, hey, Andrea, don't forget about your daily log today. I really want to see the great work you did. Like that's what we do. And now it's just, we've done it enough. And, most of them are all doing it every day. And, you always got a couple that you got to remind, but overall it's been so good.
That's really nice. Thank you, Ryan. And don't worry, I won't forget to do my daily log for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you once again so much, Ryan, for your time, for all the very valuable insight that you've given us. Thank you so much for being so willing to share also your workflow and how you work at Brown Design and Construction. Ryan will be at IBS this year. So if you're attending, feel free to drop by our booth because he's going to be there. So just say hi.
Yes, please.
In the meantime, check out their work on Instagram or on their website. And if you're ever, interested into knowing a little bit more of Houzz, if you're whether not on our platform, you can definitely contact us through our website. Or if you have an account manager already and you want to know a little bit more about the feature, you can directly contact them through Houzz Pro. Thank you once again. Merci beaucoup, Ryan, as we say in French, for your time. And I wish you a great day. And thank you to all for attending that first webinar. Thank you.
Yes, so much. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.